What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. And this time, we're going to be covering Seven, directed by David Fincher, written by Andrew Kevin Walker, starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. I'm going to give you my general thoughts on this movie without going too in depth with it, because I could talk forever about Seven. That's how much I love this movie. Oh man, David Fincher is one of my all-time favorite directors. On par with Quentin Tarantino, Fincher is very close to being my number two. And I just love this man's style of direction. David Fincher is the godfather of the psychological thriller. No man in the modern day can do a psychological thriller like David Fincher. His direction style is immersive. His choices for music and how to use his camera angles are fantastic. And Seven, to me, is the perfect example of David Fincher at his creative peak. This movie is awesome all the way around. It has an engrossing story. It has hypnotic acting. It has moments where it just creep you out. Seven is one of those movies that when you watch it, it stays with you when it's over. It's that good of a movie. The acting by Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt is excellent. Their characters of Mills and Somersault, respectively. You are with these two detectives throughout the course of this movie. You see what we see what they see. We see Mills' home life. He has a wife and unbeknownst to him, with a baby on the way. We have Detective Somersault, who is an aging and retiring detective who does not want to take on this case because he knows if he takes on this case, it's going to consume him, and he just wants to retire at the end of the week. But we see that Somersault gets into this case, and he and Mills, as they're on this case, they develop a rapport and a mutual friendship with one another. At first it was kind of volatile, but as the movie progresses, we see them have an affection for one another. Now, by volatile, I don't mean that they hate each other instantly, but you can tell that Mills is the hotshot cop and Somersault is the aging veteran cop, and they have two distinct ways of doing police business. But as the movie progresses, they use both their ways to make it work to their advantages. And I thought the movie handled that extremely well. And the performances by Pitt and Morgan, make these two characters come to life and make them very, very likable and relatable, which is I can appreciate. And Gwyneth Paltrow's character as Brad Pitt's wife, she does her role fine as well. I like the little subplot she has where she's debating on whether or not she wants to keep or abort a baby that Mills does not know about. And I really like the diner scene between her and Somersault, where she pretty much bleeds out her problems to him. I like all that stuff, especially that little scene, because it makes these characters feel more real in this universe, which is fantastic. I've already praised David Fincher's direction. In this movie, he creates a somber, dark, brooding atmosphere, and it's completely submersive. The cinematography in this movie is just outstanding. The music by Howard Shore is very reminiscent of Silence of the Lambs, but is very reminiscent of the Silence of the Lambs, but it fits this movie and the movie's tone perfectly. I can't picture any other composer doing a score to this film aside from Howard Shore. He's fantastic. The way the way that this movie presents the kills is excellent, because we never see these kills happen. We see the aftermath of these kills, and they're very brutal kills. And I like how the movie has the audience use their imagination as to how John Doe, the killer, did these heinous acts. I like how we never see him do these acts. It's all implied to the viewer as to how he did these things, and I love it for that. The imagination can conjure up more morbid things than anything can be shown on a camera. This movie also has a very good supporting cast as well. Aside from Gwyneth Paltrow, we have the legendary and the great Arlie Ermey as the police captain, who has a nice little role, and we have Kevin Spacey himself as John Doe, and of course he comes in the last 20 minutes of the film. But in those 20 minutes, Kevin Spacey puts on this hypnotic creepy performance that you hang on every word that comes out of his mouth. Take all the bullshit from Kevin Spacey's personal life and just put that to the side and just focus on this man as a talent. And he is a master at his craft. What he can do in 20 minutes, most actors can't do in an hour and a half. That's just how talented Kevin Spacey is as a performer. Because in the last 20 minutes of this movie is probably the most intense 20 minutes. Is probably the most intense 20 minutes of the movie, where we have Doe, Mills, and Somersault riding off to a rendezvous point. It's the infamous desert, the what's in the box. Excellent stuff. The pacing, the drama, the build-up, all done expertly. I can't say any good things about the what's in the box moment of the film, and the events leading up to that specific moment, all handled beautifully. And the way this movie was able to have the victims relate to the 7 deadly sins, once again, handled expertly. It made so much sense, and they made it make sense without being too hokey with it. I love it. Good stuff. This movie has well integrated action scenes. The first one is where a SWAT team breaks into a guy's house, and we see him strapped to a bed. And this guy, I believe his sin was sloth, and just the way this man looks, he just emaciated. He's deteriorated. He's been strapped to a bed for a year, and you can see just that he just looks all kinds of fucked up. That if you shine a flashlight in his eyes, he will literally die just from the shock. But the best action scene in this movie has got to be the chase between John Doe and Brad Pitt. Throughout the entire course of the movie, we never see John Doe. We never see Spacey. His face is always obscured, and we don't know what he looks like. But Mills and Somersault knows. But Mills knows what he looks like. And I just love that entire chase scene they have in the apartment building, where again we don't see Spacey's face, which is great. I love how the movie keeps obscured. It adds on to an already engrossing mystery, and it's very satisfying when the audience finally gets to see what John Doe looks like and who he is. But like I said, the chase scene is really well handled. It has the best use of shaky cam I've seen in a movie, and shaky cam I'm never been a fan of. I hate shaky cam, but if you use it correctly, I can forgive it. And this movie used shaky cam in a good way, where it was trying to match the franticness of the chase between John Doe and Mills, where they're running all over this apartment complex, eventually going into the alley where Doe literally has Mills at gunpoint but does not pull the trigger, just playing with him. I love all that stuff. Very suspenseful. And then we get to actually see the inside of John Doe's apartment, and the entire set design of the apartment is just magnificent. It is a serial killer's wet dream. It's just really well handled. It's just really well built, well done. I love the scene where Morgan Freeman is reading a journal entry from John Doe, really trying to get a sense of what goes on in this man's mind, and it just adds on to an already fascinating character without this character up to this point having any screen time. It's fantastic on how good direction and good writing can make a character who's not even in a movie throughout the entire length until like the last 20 minutes seem so vital and so important. Very few people can make that happen. So yeah, in case you haven't noticed, I have an infinity for Se7en. I think this movie is excellent. Everything about it is fantastic. The cinematography is beautiful. David Fincher's direction is exquisite. The acting is hypnotic and just sucks you right into this world. The dark, gloomy film noir atmosphere just adds on to an already incredible roller coaster experience. So yes, Se7en to me is a perfect 10. I love everything about it. I have no complaints about this movie. The pacing is excellent. This movie never feels boring. It moves at a great quick pace, and you're sucked in from start to finish. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Se7en. Let me know yours in the comment sections below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Have you ever seen it? I would like to know down below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will check you back next time for more.